The coronavirus pandemic has impacted all sectors of society, including disability service providers. I spoke with the chair of the Human Services Reform Committee, Senator Jim Abeler.
Many disability service providers are now on the verge of collapse due to COVID-19. What do these businesses provide and who do they serve?
Well, they're really important, and there's hundreds, maybe 1,000 of them that we're worried about. They provide services for people, day services for jobs, some of the workshops they can go to if they can't work in a regular place around town. They support the employment. They provide autism services, treatments for all kinds of mental illness challenges, rides around town, and they're on the verge of collapse. They haven't had any business really since March. They were shut down with the stay-at-home order and essential services and all. And so most of the workers who were there, people with disabilities, actually stayed home. And so no revenue got generated, yet the places have like overhead of 50%. And so they're at grave risk of closing, which would be just catastrophic.
In the last special session, the Senate unanimously passed a rescue package that would have provided $30 million in grants to help these businesses stay afloat. As I understand it, the measure was not taken up in the House. Why is that?
Well, the good news is that the Senate agreed on something really hard. This is a very hard topic. What do you do? Who do you choose to rescue? So many businesses are in trouble. These places are particularly crucial because they provide Medicaid benefits to people who really need them. They're not casual services, they're core, basic, really important services. And if they go away, really bad things will happen. The individuals won't have someplace to go. Some could even actually die if it comes to that. And thanks to many of our friends across the aisle, Senator Hoffman, Senator Isaacson as Democrats, Senator Kiffmeyer and me, particularly on our side of the aisle, Senator Coran, found a way to actually have the Senate agree on something, 67 to nothing. This is not one of those name a street after somebody. This is a really hard topic. And I don't know why the House didn't take it up. I know the department has been somewhat slow to find this a great concern, but I think they're warming up to it. But it's a great, great concern, and hopefully we'll have better luck coming this session if the governor just doesn't do an executive order and get it taken care of.
Okay, so lay it out for us. What will happen if a significant number of these disability service providers don't survive the pandemic?
Well, people won't be able to have rides to the doctor. In Greater Minnesota, special transportation is really important for how people can get around. The people won't have services out of their group homes. They'll be stuck in their group home, looking at the walls all day. They won't socialize. And you know, with the nursing home thing, some of the lack of socialization has actually been blamed for people dying. And they need something to live for. And so Minnesota has made a great effort to have people be as independent as they can be, even more coming. That's a different show. But we're kind of proud of what we have, and it's not that great, but it would be way worse if a third of the places collapsed, which is really the size we're talking about. Hundreds and hundreds of companies, maybe 100,000 people are served by them at this point. And especially in Greater Minnesota, there just isn't any redundancy of services, so it'd be really bad. And then there'd be lawsuits because we have to provide these services. And frankly, the amount of money we're talking about is probably less than we'd lose on the lawsuits. Never mind the humanity and the importance of each person being a special human being.
In the meantime, we are still in the midst of this pandemic, and Minnesotans with disabilities thrive on personal contact and interactivity. As you said, it's part of what brightens their day and gives them a will to live, interacting with people. But it's not safe right now. So, and then of course, congregate care settings, those people are even more at risk of COVID-19. Are there alternatives right now? Is DHS coming up with alternatives for when people can't be together that maybe could help some of these businesses survive?
Well, and kudos to Commissioner Harpstead and her crew as they found, I think, 80 different flexibilities they've come up with that the Senate was instrumental in helping them get laid out. The structure of it, the governor put it into an executive order. Much as we're hoping he'll put this language into an executive action so the money could go out. But so there's some flexibility, but still it's like a kiss through a screen door. It's one thing to, talk to you on the Zoom meeting, but it's nothing at all like being in person and seeing the inflections of, how you're nodding or winking your eyes. I mean, it's just all this, so much of the message is is nonverbal, and we lose almost all that on Zoom. And so then you get to talk to somebody on Zoom. It's like watching TV or something. It's nothing the same. Nothing at all the same.
It's likely that a special session is around the corner. Are you working with your counterparts in the House to maybe get some of this legislation through in the next special session? Or you've mentioned that Governor Walz could do this by executive order. Have you interacted with him in any way? Like, is this rising now to the top of the heap as something that should get done?
I hope it's on everybody's to-do list. And the governor finally did call me, frankly, after 13 outreaches, to talk about this and other things I wish we could have talked about, but talking about this, and he asserted that this is very important to him and that it's something we need to look after. And so I'm encouraging him today just to do an executive action and put the $30 million out there. It actually costs $13 million a month, so that'd be a really good start. And then come session, we're working on jacketing a bill, and Hunter Cantrell, Representative Cantrell, and Zach Stevenson have been very helpful. And we're in communication with the chairs there, and lots of people are very worried about this. I think there's a lot of discussion and just a will to get it done. This is one of those things, when you look at it, it's like, let's get this done. This is just a no-brainer. A contentious Senate agreed 67-0 on a hard topic. And so Governor, Department of Human Services, House, let's just do the right thing and help these people enjoy the life that we are so proud to offer them. Because everybody matters in Minnesota, and in particular the people that we're trying to make their lives special. So pray it works.
Senator Jim Abeler, thank you.